Hello, I'm Mike Frescano with Speed City International. As a baseball player, you know how much emphasis is placed on the 60-yard dash. It is an absolute certainty that at some point in your career, someone's going to evaluate your baseball ability based solely on the results of this test. Considering its importance, you need to make sure that you're ready to perform your best when a scout wants to put a clock on you. The training routine presented in this video will have you ready to run your best 60-yard dash in 6 weeks.
The warm-up routine you will use before each of your workouts consists of 8 dynamic flexibility exercises. Each will be performed for 10 yards and then followed by a 10-yard jog. Each exercise should be performed twice, and performing the entire warm-up routine should take about 6 to 8 minutes. When performing ankle flips, the athlete will keep a straight line from their heels to the top of their head. The athlete's knees stay locked, and the only thing that touches the ground is the ball of their foot. A slight forward lean and a quick flick of the ankle are all that propel the body forward. This motion is designed to make the athlete more keenly aware of the placement of their body weight on the front of their foot and of the proper positioning of keeping the toe pulled towards the shin. To loosen the upper body, athletes will perform arm circles. In this exercise, the athlete will circle their arms from front to back, flexing all the muscles in the upper body and trying to keep their elbows together as long as possible. Athletes should progress forward slowly enough to complete about 4 to 5 circles in a 10-yard distance. Athletes should remain on the front of their feet and bounce through the entire movement rather than walk. When performing shin grabs, an athlete should maintain an upright posture, grab their shin, and pull it deep into their chest. Pulling the body into this position and then holding the position for a second requires tremendous flexibility and body control. As athletes hold this position, they should also aim to support all of their weight on the front of their foot and not on their heel. After pausing at the top of the motion, the athlete will release their leg, step forward with it, and then repeat with the other leg. Russian walks target hamstring flexibility. Athletes should keep their legs straight at all times during this drill. As one leg kicks straight in front of the body, the other leg should also remain straight, and the athlete should maintain an upright posture. The athlete should aim to kick as high as possible, but not at the expense of bending the knee. When the leg is fully extended in front of the body, the athlete will reach out and touch their toes with the opposite hand. A-skips focus on rhythm and correct sprint angles. Key points to a successful A-skip include an upright posture, 90-degree bends at the elbows, thighs brought parallel with the ground, and toes pulled towards the shins. It is important that an athlete be able to smoothly perform the rhythmic motion of A-skips because it mimics much of the positioning needed for high-speed, efficient sprinting. Over and under the fence is an exercise designed to loosen the hips and groin for lateral movement and change of direction speed. This exercise is performed by first stepping laterally over an imaginary fence with both legs and then sliding under another imaginary fence. Note that the athlete's feet never cross at any point during this drill. As athletes step over the imaginary fence, they aim to step as high as possible, thus striving for maximum range of motion in the hips. Similarly, as the athlete slides under the imaginary fence, they should step as wide as possible and sink as low as possible to fully stretch the groins and hamstring. The backwards open hip skip focuses on rhythm and aims to loosen the hips and groin. Here the athlete will lift their thigh parallel to the ground in front of their body, then rotate it open as they step backwards. As the athlete steps backwards, they should imagine that they are stepping over a small hurdle. As with all speed training exercises, athletes should keep all of their weight on the front of their foot and keep their heels off the ground. By keeping their weight on the front of their feet, athletes will more easily fall into a rhythm that allows them to smoothly perform this challenging exercise. When performing the lunge and twist, Athletes will step forward with their right leg and sink down towards the ground until their opposite knee comes within about an inch of the ground. Once in the lunge position, the athlete will rotate their left elbow towards their right knee. This is an unstable position requiring strength, flexibility, and balance. From this position, the athlete will step with their left leg all the way from the trail position to the lunge position out front. This should all be done in one step. Athletes should not take any additional steps in between. After athletes have performed drills in this warm-up routine a couple of times, it should take them no longer than about 6 to 8 minutes to complete. As with all the exercises on this video, if you need further clarification of any of the warm-ups, please refer to your training manual. Your weekly training routine consists of 2 speed day workouts and 2 power day workouts. Each day is designed to maximize your speed in the 60-yard dash, but each day accomplishes this in 2 totally different ways. This section will demonstrate all of the drills you will use on your speed day workouts. The most basic quick foot ladder exercise is called 1-foot runs. This drill simply involves running through the ladder and placing 1 foot in each hole. The key is to keep the upper and lower body in sync with one another. As the right foot steps forward, the right elbow fires backwards and vice versa. It is of utmost importance for the athlete to perfectly place each of their steps as they move through the ladder. Perfection is the number 1 goal, with speed being the number 2 goal. Many exercises on the quick foot ladder can also be performed while holding hand weights or while being resisted by the Viper. Both of these techniques serve to increase the level of difficulty of the drill and should be mixed into your daily workout plans. 2-foot ladder runs are performed exactly the same way as 1-foot ladder runs, except that both feet step into each hole. This requires shorter, quicker motions and more body control. Athletes must still fight to keep their upper and lower bodies in rhythm. The tendency will be for athletes to accelerate forward and miss holes in the ladder. However, athletes must avoid this by focusing on correct patterns, driving their elbows backwards, and on forcing their feet to quickly pop off the ground. Break runs combine the motions of 1-foot runs and 2-foot runs on the quick foot ladder. As with the motions it combines, the key to this motion is to maintain perfect rhythm between the upper and lower body during the full repetition. Break runs are performed using 1-foot runs through the first half of the ladder, and then quickly and smoothly shifting to the motions of 2-foot runs for the second half. The challenge here is for the athlete to channel all the forward momentum they build up while performing 1-foot runs into their feet when they switch to 2-foot runs. This is a tricky transition and requires supreme body control. The Icky Shuffle is one of the best drills that can be performed on the quick foot ladder. This drill focuses solely on rhythm and rapid-fire foot contacts. The Icky Shuffle involves placing both feet inside the ladder and 1 foot on either side. While it is possible to generate blistering foot speed on this exercise, you must be patient enough to learn the correct foot pattern before you step on the gas. Running hand weight drops are unmatched in developing a powerful upper body for the acceleration portion of your sprint. When performing this exercise, the athlete will grip a pair of hand weights. The athlete will then perform a full speed sprint for the given distance and drop the hand weights at the halfway point of the sprint. When the athlete drops the hand weights, their upper body should fire faster, causing a turbo boost in speed for the second half of the sprint. The key is to maintain form and body control during this quick transition from a resisted to free upper body. In order to run fast, you must train fast. To accomplish this, athletes will use the Speed Builder. The Speed Builder is designed to pull athletes through sprints at speeds they couldn't achieve otherwise. By training at these higher than normal speeds, athletes' bodies will learn to function efficiently at these speeds, as well as come to expect these speeds during the rest of their training. The benefit of the Speed Builder is that it can be used with or without a training partner. When training alone, an athlete may anchor the Speed Builder to a goalpost. When training with a partner, the athlete being pulled is known as the rabbit, and the athlete in the lead is known as the engine. The rabbit will begin on a starting line and the engine will walk out to a distance of 20 yards from the starting line, so the flexicord is taut. The engine will look back and ask the rabbit if they are ready. Once the rabbit says yes, the engine may begin sprinting at any time. We normally have our engines hold up one hand and then drop it the moment before they begin, as shown here. The engine will sprint for 5 to 10 yards and then coast to a stop. The rabbit will begin sprinting as soon as the engine drops their hand. The rabbit will continue to sprint all the way through the pull of the speed builder. Just like in other phases of a sprint, resistance can be used to train top speed as well. Because of the nature of top speed sprinting, a lighter resistance is needed, and the absolute best tool for this type of resistance is a parachute. A parachute allows the athlete to relax and maintain the upright posture associated with top speed sprinting. Athletes will typically perform parachute sprints in distances of 50 to 100 yards. The athlete should smoothly accelerate up to about 3/4 speed and then concentrate on maintaining that speed for the duration of the repetition. Athletes will accomplish this by relaxing as they run, maintaining their posture, lifting their knees up to waist level, and concentrating on the clawing motion used to pull themselves forward. The light resistance employed by the parachute is just enough to help athletes strengthen these critical top speed motions. The Plus4 Stride Checker is a device designed to mimic the stride pattern an athlete uses while sprinting distances of 40 yards or more. Each mark on the Plus4 Stride Checker increases 4 inches in length from the last. Using this device will help athletes become more comfortable with the relationship between stride length and stride frequency. When using the Stride Checker, the athlete's goal is to sprint as quickly as possible while making their steps match the marks on the ground. A perfect repetition on the Plus4 Stride Checker would involve the athlete hitting every mark and then shooting out of the end of the Stride Checker at full speed. The athlete should maintain an upright posture throughout the sprint, and each of their steps should strike the ground directly under their hips rather than in front of their hips. Athletes should concentrate on propelling themselves through the sprint by driving their knees up to approximately waist level and hammering their elbows backwards. As mentioned earlier, your weekly training routine consists of 2 speed day workouts and 2 power day workouts. This section will catalog each of the drills you will perform on your power days. A simple and effective hopping exercise on the Kwik-Foot ladder is hopscotch. Hopscotch is performed by placing both feet in the first hole and then hopping forward to the second hole and placing the feet outside the ladder on either side. This motion is then repeated for the full length of the ladder. The idea is to stay low and quick while keeping all of the body's weight on the front of the foot. Like many other ladder drills, this is one that can also be performed by using the resistance or assistance of the Viper. When performing straddle hops, athletes will place one foot in the first hole and one foot outside the first hole. Athletes' feet should be slightly wider than shoulder width apart. In a quick hopping motion, athletes will move to the second hole and reverse the position of their feet. The goal is to maintain a wide base position and to minimize the time spent on the ground. This drill is unmatched in quickly teaching an athlete the proper body positioning necessary for producing a smothering defensive performance. Straddle hops are yet another example of a Kwik-Foot ladder drill that can be performed backwards or with the resistance of a Viper. Another Kwik-Foot ladder drill that will prepare an athlete for a power day workout is jump cuts. The athlete will start by placing both feet in the first hole and then hopping out beside the second hole. This pattern is then repeated for the full length of the ladder. As the athlete performs this exercise, they should concentrate on keeping their feet together and having them strike the ground at the exact same time. Athletes should keep a slight bend in their knees and their weight on the front of their feet to achieve maximum speeds. One of the more difficult hopping drills that can be performed on the Kwik-Foot ladder is the Crazy Climber. This exercise is excellent for loosening an athlete's hips and torso, as well as for developing smooth total body rhythm. Athletes should keep their weight on the front of their feet and quickly pop off the ground with each contact. For an illustration of the Crazy Climber's foot pattern, please refer to the Sack Attack Training Manual. One of the most simple and effective exercises for developing explosive power necessary for sprinting is frog leaps. Frog leaps simply involve performing a given number of leaps over a maximum distance. The time spent on the ground should be minimized, and the athlete should pick up momentum with each jump. Athletes should focus on coordinating the forward thrust of the hips and hands with each leap. It is helpful to mark the landing point of the final jump so the athlete will have a goal to beat with each successive set. To help build explosive single-leg power, athletes will perform bounding. Like frog leaps, bounding involves performing a given number of bounds over a maximum distance. With each bound, the athlete will power off the ground with one leg, glide in the air as long as possible, and then land on the opposite leg. Russian leaps is a resisted jumping exercise that will help athletes develop an explosive start to any sprint. This exercise is conducted by having a training partner anchor the Viper's flexicord to the ground with their foot. As the athlete is resisted towards the ground, they will perform a quick set of jumps for maximum height. As soon as the athlete completes the resisted jumps, they will immediately remove the Viper belt and perform an equal number of free jumps. Russian skips are set up the same way as Russian leaps, but rather than performing resisted leaps, athletes will be resisted through the motions of A-skips, just like they performed during the warm-up routine. Each skip should be quick and precise, and should be powerful enough that the athlete completely separates from the ground with each explosive push. Just as when performing A-skips, athletes should concentrate on driving their elbows backwards and their knees upward to approximately waist level. After the athlete has performed the required number of resisted skips, they will remove the Viper's belt and immediately perform a free sprint. The exact distance of this sprint will be indicated in the daily workout plans in the Sack Attack Training Manual. Let-goes are similar to running hand weight drops, except that the athlete's entire body is resisted instead of just their upper body. When performing this exercise, athletes will use the padded Viper waist belt and the handle attachment. Athletes will start in a 3-point stance and perform a full-speed sprint for the given distance. The athlete will use a coach or training partner to resist their sprint for the first half. At the halfway point of the sprint, the coach or training partner will release the handle and allow the athlete to sprint unimpeded for the second half. The athlete should react to, rather than anticipate, the release of the handle. At the point of release, the athlete should feel a tremendous increase in speed and should continue to accelerate through the end of the marked distance. One of the best exercises for developing the total body power needed to run fast is the caber toss. This exercise is performed using a weighted ball. The weight used will depend on the athlete, but remember that it is the speed of the motion that is of primary importance, so a lighter ball is typically preferred. The athlete will start with the ball extended above their head and their feet slightly wider than shoulder width. The athlete will let the weight of the ball swing down and back until it pulls them into a crouched, loaded position. At the moment the ball reaches the bottom of the swing, the athlete will immediately hit the ignition switch, actively reverse the motion of the ball, and launch it directly above their head. The goal is to throw the ball straight up in the air as high as possible. As soon as the ball hits the ground, the athlete will catch it, reload, and throw again. The heave and retrieve exercise combines an explosive throw with a quick sprint. For this drill, the athlete will use a weighted ball. The athlete will place the ball directly under their chin and begin in a coiled up crouch position. The athlete will initiate the throw by forcefully leaping forward and simultaneously bench pressing the ball off their chest. As soon as the athlete's feet return to the ground, they will sprint after the ball, reload, and perform the rest of their throws. Not only is this drill great for developing explosive speed, but it's also a great conditioning exercise. This drill is typically placed towards the end of workouts because it's likely to burn up any remaining gas that may be left in the athlete's tank. At the end of both speed and power day workouts, you will go through a short period of cooling down. During this period, you will address the key areas of flexibility and core strength. Core strength exercises target the muscles in your stomach and lower back. These muscles play a major role in any movements that require total body explosion, like the 60-yard dash. Flexibility training is placed at the end of workouts because this is when your body is completely warmed up and loose, and thus most receptive to gains in flexibility. The first exercise an athlete may choose to perform for their core strength is the dead horse crunch. This exercise targets the abdominal muscles. Athletes simply lie on their backs, extend their arms and legs straight up in the air, and reach up towards their toes. The dead horse crunch can be performed in sets of 25 to 100 repetitions. To increase the difficulty of this exercise, a weighted ball may be added. Catapult throws also address the abdominal muscles, but in a much more explosive manner. This exercise is performed with a partner and a weighted ball. The athlete will begin by holding the ball above their head and will keep their arms in a locked position. As the athlete goes through the motions of a sit-up, they will release the ball at the top of the sit-up and throw it at their partner's head. The partner will catch the ball and toss it back just above the head of the athlete as they return to the bottom of the sit-up. We recommend doing catapult throws in sets of 10 to 25 repetitions. Performing leg throws is another great way to address abdominal strength. As the athlete lies on their back, they will brace themselves by holding their partner's ankles. The athlete should keep their legs locked and raise them straight up in the air. The partner will grab the athlete's ankles and forcefully throw them towards the ground. As the athlete becomes more proficient with this exercise, they may have their partner throw their legs randomly to the middle, left, and right as shown here. Equally as important as having strong, explosive abdominal muscles is having a strong, explosive lower back. One exercise we use to target this area is the seal catch. When performing this exercise, the athlete will lie face down with their partner kneeling 3 feet in front of them with a weighted ball. As the partner tosses the ball just above the athlete's head, the athlete will use the muscles in their lower back to raise up, catch the ball, and immediately toss it back to their partner. Seal catches can be performed in sets of 6 to 12 repetitions. After an athlete has strengthened their lower back by performing seal catches, they may then proceed to seal throws. Seal throws again involve the use of a weighted ball. Here the athlete will lay flat on their stomach, hold the ball in front of their head, and throw the ball as high and as far behind them as possible without bending their arms. The athlete's upper body and feet will leave the ground during the throw, and the muscles in their lower back will quickly contract to execute the throw. This drill can be stressful on the lower back, so a lighter ball should be used. To end each workout, athletes will perform 5 to 10 minutes of stretching. An excellent way to enhance post-workout stretching is to perform the 4 partner stretches we will demonstrate here. The idea is to take advantage of the natural looseness the body experiences at the end of workouts by using a coach or training partner to push the athlete through a wider range of motions than they are capable of performing on their own. In all of the stretches, the athlete will lie on their back. First, the partner or coach will place their chest on the athlete's foot and push the athlete's knee towards their chin. As soon as the athlete has reached their comfortable limit, they will say stop, and the partner will hold this position for 10 seconds. In the next stretch, the athlete will extend their legs straight up in the air and lock their knee. The partner will stretch the athlete's hamstring by pushing back on their leg. Again, the athlete must say stop when they have reached their maximum stretch position. The athlete must communicate when they reach their limit so the partner does not unintentionally overstretch them. After holding stretch number 2 for 10 seconds, the partner will then push the athlete's knee towards their armpit. The athlete's thigh should end up roughly parallel to the ground, and their lower leg should end up roughly perpendicular to the ground. As with other partner stretches, the athlete should relax and allow their body to stretch through a full range of motion. In the final stretch, the athlete will rotate their leg across their body. The partner will press down on the athlete's thigh while holding their opposite shoulder to the ground. The athlete will find it helpful to exhale all of their breath when performing this stretch. By properly stretching at the end of each workout, athletes will prevent soreness and potential injury, as well as increase flexibility, thus increasing movement speeds. In this video, we have demonstrated all of the drills you will use to train yourself in the 60-yard dash. In the manual that came with this video, you will find your detailed 6-week training routine and further description of each of the drills you have just seen. If you carefully follow this routine, you will maximize your speed, run your fastest 60-yard dash time, and you will dominate the most important test in baseball,